Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this news bulletin brought to you live from Zain News Studios with me, Oussama Senouci. Today's top stories. The head of state, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, chairs a restricted ministerial meeting to address security issues prevailing in the region. This council aims at hiking investments to $100 billion over the course of the next 5 years. And in international news, Belgian prosecutors have named one of the two men still sought in connection with the 13 November Paris attacks as they met with French counterparts. Hello again. According to a press release, the restricted ministerial meeting chaired by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, ended up with numerous outstanding points, including presidential directives, notably in security, humanitarian and diplomatic fields, which will allow our country to face the situation and preserve its stability in respect of its basic principles and by preserving its national interest. Mustafa Azzouk has more details.
After just 2 days of the failed terrorist plot on Al-Khashiba gas compound in the Al province, and in order to deal with the escalating situation prevailing in the sub-region, the head of state, Mr. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, chaired on Sunday a restricted ministerial meeting to address these pending issues. According to the press release, the meeting ended up with numerous outstanding points, including presidential directives, notably in security, humanitarian, and diplomatic fields, which will allow our country to face this escalating situation and preserve its stability in respect of its basic principles. This restricted meeting witnessed the attendance of crucial decision-making figures, including Prime Minister Abdelmalek Salal and Deputy Chief of Staff, in addition to other members of the government. As part of the fight against terrorism, a detachment of People's National Army neutralized 4 key terrorists who carried out the failed terrorist plot on Al-Khashiba gas compound in the province, southern Algeria, while other 6 terrorists were also killed in the Red province, southern Algeria.
In the education file, the Minister of National Education, Nouria Ben Ghabrait, said that the 2 decrees related to the nature of the employment contest and the required diplomas will be published tomorrow, adding that the subscription process on the internet will kick off on the 28th of March and will end on the 17th of April. During her meeting with education directors in the Secondary School of Mathematics in Cuba, Algiers, Ben Ghabrait called on contractual teachers to have faith in themselves and in the custodians, adding that the experience they earned will enhance their chances in the contest, which confirms that the minister is not willing to take experience years into account in future employment contests. In other news, the meteorological authorities expect some weather turbulences accompanied with heavy rainfall in the north of the country. The Weather Forecast Special Journal said that the weather turbulences will begin today, Monday, and last until Wednesday. The concerned provinces are Blida, Algiers, Boumediès, Rilizan, Mascara, Chlef, and Tiaret. The amount of rainfalls is estimated at 50 millimeters. In economy-related news, according to the head of the Saudi delegation, Mr. Ahmed Riyad Mazrou, his country's investments in Algeria are estimated at $2 billion, but the Bilateral Business Council aims at hiking this number to a staggering $100 billion over the course of the next 5 years. Mr. Mazrou praised the council, saying that it has incredibly evolved in recent years as the two nations witnessed various fruitful joint ventures in numerous sectors of endeavor.
The Algerian Saudi Arabian Business Council has undoubtedly evolved in recent years, as we have noticed fruitful joint ventures in various fields of endeavor. This milestone achievement is the culmination of hard work and dedication of our predecessors in this bilateral council.
Despite the controversy, the government's measures and procedures to cut on imports have saved Algeria more than $8 billion. And in the context, the criteria of the new imports license will be set by the Joint Ministerial Committee next April, a procedure which would at least save the Algerian market from the current deadlock it's witnessing nowadays. Karim Fazakri has more in this detail.
Government's decisions to rationalize imports started to kick in and prove their efficiency. In fact, Algeria has been able to economize $8 billion from imports between the year 2014-2015. And in the current year, and in the two first months, Algeria economized 8% of imports, figures showing that the outcome of these import permits is rather positive despite the controversy. What's happening in the sense of imports rationalization? The measures have already given their fruits. I will give you some important figures. You know, by the end of the year 2015, we have made a gain from $58.5 billion to $51 billion, i.e. $8 billion gain of imports. For the first 2 months of the year 2016, i.e. January and February, our imports went from $8.2 billion to $7.5 billion, so with a reduction of 8%. So if we go with these dynamics, we can easily economize up to $10 billion by the end of this year. Achieving balance in national economy by creating local alternatives, the Trade Ministry is, for example, willing to make Algeria a clean source of potatoes after it has exported more than 2,000 tons of potatoes to Europe in 2 months' time only. It's an initiative which was taken now for almost a month, and we have the result now. You know that we have never exported such amount of potatoes in only 2 months. 2,300 tons of potatoes, knowing that at the previous annual average was 100, 200, up to 700 tons maximum. So you see here that there is a dynamic export business. The Joint Ministerial Committee will set the criteria for delivering licenses next April. This procedure is able to free the deadlock which the market is witnessing and which was quite patent in the recent disappointing auto show.
It might not attract parades and not enough people likely raise glasses to it, but Monday the 21st is World Poetry Day, where literature, free speech and literary iconic figures are celebrated. It is also the day when iconic Arab poet Nizar Qabbani was born, whom Google paid tribute to with a doodle on their homepage. Hints Minoras has more details.
Is Nizar Qabbani's turn to be celebrated by Google in a doodle. One of the most iconic Arab poets of modern history, Qabbani, known for enriching Arabic literature with his many published works. Arab nationalism, love, and feminism were among the most prominent themes he wrote about. Many called him the woman's poet. In what greater way of celebrating World Poetry Day than Google celebrating a key figure in the history of Arab poetry? Why not when he was lauded as the poet who's revolutionized Arab poetry with simple verses that were accessible to a wider audience? Algeria, it too had its fair share of iconic poets, from Mohammed al-Eid al-Khalifa to Mufti Zakaria, and the circle keeps expanding at a time where poetry circles are getting rare. And Poetry Day is not a day without William Shakespeare, the legend who is synonymous with some of the richest works in the world of poetry and playwriting. The Englishman continues to be the inspiration for aspiring poets from all over the world. From Maya Angelou, Victor Hugo, Robert Frost to Oscar Wilde and many iconic figures who wrote their names in gold in the literature scene. By paying tribute to the men and women whose only instrument is free speech, who imagine and act, the world recognizes in poetry its value as a symbol of the human spirit's creativity.
In international news, Belgian prosecutors have named one of the 2 men still sought in connection with the 13 November Paris attacks as they met with French counterparts following the arrest of the prime suspect Alaa Abdesalam after 4 months of the run. Najim Lashrawi, whose nationality has not been given, is reported to have traveled to Syria in 2013 and was previously identified by his alias Sofiane Kial. Fatma Mhani reports.
A new accomplice in last year's deadly Paris attacks has been identified by Belgian prosecutors. A 24-year-old young man, Najim Lashrawi, previously known by his false name Soufiane Kayal, traveled in Syria in February 2013 and is still on the run. He used to travel to Hungary in September with Salah Abdeslam, who was a key suspect, finally arrested in a dramatic raid on Friday. French President François Hollande, who has said he wants Abdeslam extradited as quickly as possible, was due to hold his first formal meeting with relatives of the 130 Paris victims on Monday afternoon. The investigation is now widening, and Hollande has said that the network involved in the Paris attacks was much bigger than previously thought. Two more suspects are wanted over the Paris attacks. Mohamed Abrini, who became friends with Abdeslam when they were teenagers, and Lashrawi. Abdeslam, meanwhile, is locked in solitary confinement in the high-security prison in Bruges, the historic medieval touristic town about an hour's drive north of Brussels.
And to wrap it up, March the 21st is known as worldwide as the World Arbor Day. Today, many countries observe such a holiday in which individuals and groups are hailed to plant and care for trees. In Algeria, initiatives like these are encouraged and appreciated, much to the benefit of younger generations. It's Minoras again.
As you can see in this green dam, we've dug a hole to plant a tree. You see how I'm holding you? Likewise, these roots will hold on to the soil. With initiatives like these, World Arbor Day is celebrated, planting in kids the love of nature, just like a tree is planted, with an aim to raise a generation that cares and preserves the environment that has become threatened nowadays by human reckless behavior.
I came to help plant a tree. Trees have so many benefits. They grow fruits. We can seek refuge under them. They also help provide the oxygen we breathe and keep being healthy. Trees are crucial for our nature. This gesture, no matter how small it may look, will contribute in the beautifying of the environment and will educate children as to the preservation of nature.
This is how this family, along with dozens of other families, associations, and other members of the society, had their own kind of celebration.
These initiatives aim to spread the tree planting culture in forests and green dams.
As simple and uncomplicated as it may look, planting a tree has a deep impact on its planters, the environment, and the climate as a whole, as deep as 100-year-old tree's roots.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Let's have another look at today's top stories. The head of state, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, chairs a restricted ministerial meeting to address security issues prevailing in the region. The Algerian Saudi Arabian Business Council aims at hiking investments to $100 billion over the course of the next 5 years. And internationally, Belgian prosecutors have named one of the two men still sought in connection with the 13 November Paris attacks as they met with French counterparts. The end of this news bulletin. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and for more news and feed, please visit our website and our social media pages as indicated at the bottom of the screen. And for more English feed, please visit our page, News English Team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.